The text came at 7:43 a.m. on a Tuesday. Family meeting tonight. 6 p.m. Don't be late. Important. From Dad as usual. No please, no explanation, just an order. I was in my corner office at Summit Financial Holdings, reviewing loan default notices for the month. 37 properties in various stages of foreclosure. Standard numbers for this quarter. Then I saw it. Line 23, 4847 Oakmont Drive. Default amount, $47,000. Borrowers, Richard and Susan Chin. My parents' address. I sat back in my chair studying the file. 3 months of missed payments. Multiple notices sent. No response to any communication attempts. The file notes indicated they'd been dodging calls from our collections department. My assistant Marcus knocked on the door. Miss Chin? Your 8 a.m. is here. Give me 5 minutes, I said, still staring at the screen. I pulled up the full loan history. The original mortgage had been refinanced twice in 5 years. Each time pulling out more equity. The current balance, $680,000 on a house worth maybe $550,000 in today's market. They were underwater. And they were about to be foreclosed on by the company I'd founded 7 years ago. My phone buzzed again. Mom, this time, please don't make excuses. This is about your sister's future. Family comes first. My sister Jessica, 29 years old, never held a job longer than 6 months, and currently driving a brand new Tesla Model X. The Tesla they'd mentioned in passing last month. Just a small loan to help Jessica get reliable transportation for job interviews. A small loan. Right. I opened my personal banking app and scrolled through the transfers. Over the past 5 years, $340,000 in family support. Monthly payments of $5,000 that had become so routine I'd automated them. Just until we get back on our feet, Dad had said initially. That was 5 years ago. I'd been 28 then, fresh from selling my first startup for $8 million. Eager to help. Desperate to prove I wasn't the disappointment they'd always implied I was. Marcus knocked again. Miss Chin. Cancel my morning meetings, I said. All of them. All of them. Even the board call. Especially that one. Tell them something came up. Family emergency. The irony wasn't lost on me. I spent the day doing what I should have done years ago. Investigating my own family. With the resources of a financial services company at my disposal, it was almost too easy. The Tesla. $89,000 financed through a predatory lender at 18% interest. Co-signed by Richard Chin. Using inflated income statements. Fraud, basically. The house refinances. Both times claiming higher income than tax returns showed. More fraud. The credit cards. 17 of them between Mom and Dad. Combined balance, $230,000. Minimum payments being made, probably with my monthly $5,000 family support. Jessica's apartment. Luxury building downtown. $4,200 monthly rent. Paid by Richard and Susan Chin. Or more accurately, paid by me through them. The country club membership. $15,000 annually. The vacation to Hawaii last month. $23,000. The new furniture I'd seen in their house at Thanksgiving. $31,000 all on credit. They weren't struggling. They were living like millionaires on my money while defaulting on their mortgage. My mortgage. And my company. I pulled up the foreclosure file again. According to our standard procedures, they had 30 days from the final notice to cure the default. That notice had gone out yesterday. In 31 days, Summit Financial Holdings would foreclose on 4847 Oakmont Drive. Unless someone paid the $47,000 to bring the loan current. Someone like their successful daughter who'd been bankrolling their lifestyle for 5 years. I closed the file and made a call to our legal department. Patricia? It's Kimberly. I need you to prepare foreclosure documents for a property. Yes, I know we usually wait longer. Not this time. I want everything ready to file the moment the cure period expires. I arrived at their house at exactly 6 p.m. Jessica's Tesla was in the driveway, sparkling clean. Probably detailed at my expense. Mom opened the door, her smile bright but strained. Kimberly. Finally. We were starting to worry you'd forgotten about family. Never, I said, stepping inside. The living room had been redecorated since Thanksgiving. New artwork on the walls. Expensive pieces I recognized from a gallery downtown. A new entertainment system. Leather furniture that probably cost more than most people's cars. All purchased while they were 3 months behind on their mortgage. Dad sat in his new leather recliner, remote in hand. He didn't stand when I entered. "You're late." "I'm exactly on time," I said, checking my watch. 6 p.m. "Family arrives early," he said, as if that were an established rule. Jessica bounced in from the kitchen, wine glass in hand. "Kim, love that you could make it. I was just telling Mom and Dad about my new business opportunity." "Another one?" I asked mildly, sitting on the new couch. "This one is different," she insisted. "It's a boutique consulting firm. Executive coaching for women in tech. I just need some startup capital to get it off the ground." Of course she did. Mom sat down, smoothing her designer dress. "Another recent purchase, no doubt. That's actually why we called this family meeting. We need to discuss your contribution to Jessica's future." "My contribution," I repeated. "You've been so successful," Dad said, his tone making it sound like an accusation. "Your sister deserves the same opportunities. Family supports family. That's how we raised you." "How much?" I asked. Jessica's eyes lit up. "Well, I've put together a business plan." "How much?" "50,000 to start," she said. "Then maybe 5,000 monthly for the first year while I build the client base. 50,000 upfront, plus 60,000 over the year," I calculated. "So $110,000 total." "It's an investment in family," Mom said quickly. "Jessica has so much potential. She just needs support to launch her 6th failed business venture?" I interrupted. "The boutique closed after 4 months. The lifestyle blog never got past 3 posts. The event planning company had 0 clients. The jewelry line. Those were learning experiences," Dad cut in sharply. "Your sister is finding herself. Not everyone can be a corporate robot like you." "Corporate robot?" That was new. Usually I was just too serious or too focused on money. "And this business will be different," Jessica insisted. "I've really thought it through this time. I even have a vision board." "A vision board. Perfect. Actually," I said, "before we discuss Jessica's vision board, I have some questions about your finances." The room went quiet. "Our finances?" Mom's laugh was nervous. "Kim, that's really not appropriate." "You're asking me for $110,000, I said. "That makes it appropriate. How are you planning to sustain yourselves if I'm giving you 50,000 upfront plus your regular monthly support?" "Regular support?" Jessica looked confused. "What regular support?" Mom and Dad exchanged glances. "You give them money every month?" Jessica pressed. "How much?" 5,000, I said, watching their faces. "For 5 years. That's $300,000, plus the additional 40,000 in emergency transfers. So $340,000 total." Jessica's wine glass nearly slipped from her hand. "You've given them $340,000? "We haven't been given anything," Dad said sharply. "That's family support. That's what successful children do. They help their parents maintain their lifestyle." "Maintain your lifestyle," I repeated slowly, "while you're 3 months behind on your mortgage." The color drained from Mom's face. "How did you?" Dad started. "No." I pulled out my tablet, opening the file. "Because Summit Financial Holdings sent you 3 default notices. You ignored all of them. You're currently $47,000 past due, and you have 29 days left to cure the default before foreclosure proceedings begin." "Summit Financial," Jessica said slowly. "That's... Kim, isn't that your company?" "I founded it 7 years ago," I confirmed. "We're now the 3rd largest mortgage servicer in the state. We handle approximately 4,000 residential loans, including yours." Dad stood abruptly. "You looked into our private financial matters? That's a violation of..." "I'm the CO," I said calmly. "I have access to all loan files. And when I saw your address on the default list this morning, I did what I should have done years ago. Due diligence." I swiped to another screen. The Tesla in the driveway. $89,000, financed at 18% interest with fraudulent income statements. The refinances on this house, both times with inflated income claims. The 17 credit cards with $230,000 in combined debt. Jessica's luxury apartment that costs $4,200 monthly. Shall I continue? You had no right, Mom whispered. Those are private. You made them my business when you've been taking my money while defaulting on your obligations, I interrupted. Every dollar I've given you is supposed to help you get stable. Instead, you've been living like millionaires while drowning in debt. We needed to maintain appearances, Dad said. For business connections, social standing. Dad, you retired 3 years ago. What business connections? Potential opportunities, he blustered. Consulting work, board positions. You're not doing any consulting work. You're not on any boards. You're living off my monthly transfers and going deeper into debt. Jessica set down her wine glass. So all those times Mom said you were too busy to help me, you were actually giving them $5,000 a month? Jessica, Mom started. You told me Kim was selfish. Jessica's voice rose. You said she'd forgotten where she came from, that she didn't care about family. But she's been giving you $340,000 while I was eating ramen. We were going to help you once we got stable, Dad said weakly. When? Jessica demanded. You bought me a car and an apartment, but Kim's been paying for it. I thought you were helping me. We are helping you. With Kim's money. Jessica was crying now. Do you know how guilty I felt? Taking money from you while Kim supposedly refused to help? I called her selfish to her face last Christmas. I remembered. She'd accused me of abandoning the family, of thinking I was too good for them now that I had money. I'd said nothing, just taken it because I didn't want to expose what I'd been doing for our parents. This is enough, Dad said firmly. Kimberly, we called this meeting to discuss family support. Either you're willing to help your sister launch her business or you're not. I'm not, I said simply. Then I think we're done here. His face was red with anger. If you're going to be selfish. I'm being smart, I said. Smart enough to stop funding your bad choices. Smart enough to protect my money. Smart enough to let the foreclosure happen. Mom gasped. You can't. I can, I said. In 29 days, Summit Financial will foreclose on this house. You'll have 90 days to move out after the sale. Mom's voice went high. Where are we supposed to go? That's not my problem. I supported you for 5 years. You could have fixed your finances. You chose not to. We're your parents. Dad shouted. You owe us. I owe you. I stood up. I paid for my own college. You told people you paid when you didn't. I built a company you said was luck. I gave you $340,000 while you called me selfish. Dad. I don't owe you anything. Jessica grabbed my arm. Is there any way to stop the foreclosure? Pay the default, $47,000, and the other debts, about $320,000. Total, $370,000. You have that money, Dad said. I do, I said. And I'm not giving it to you. Mom started crying. We'll lose everything. The house, our reputation. You already lost your reputation, I said quietly. Everyone knows you're broke. You've been avoiding the country club, skipping events, hiding discount store bags. Mom's expression told me I was right. This house is the last piece of the image you pretend to have, I said. When it's gone, you'll have to face reality. You're not rich. You never were. You lived on loans, my loans. So we'll be homeless? Dad said bitterly. No. You'll downsize. Live on Social Security and your pension. Small apartment. Simple life. Like normal people. We're not normal people, Dad snapped. We're your family. Exactly, I said. And you treated me like your personal bank. You lied, begged, and guilt-tripped. You bought Jessica a Tesla while I paid your mortgage. You redecorated while ignoring your debt. You lived like royalty while calling me selfish. I walked to the door. Foreclosure papers get filed in 30 days. Use that time to find a new place. Kim. Jessica followed me outside. Please. I stopped beside her Tesla. I didn't know, she cried. They said you refused to help. They lied. I know, I said. The car, the apartment, do I have to give them back? The car is in your name. The payments are your problem now. The apartment lease is theirs. She swallowed hard. Do I need to get a real job? Yes, I said. No more fake startup ideas. A real job. A paycheck. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Will you help me? Not with money, just advice. I looked at her carefully. He meant it. Maybe, I said. Get any job within 2 weeks. Keep it for 6 months. Then we'll talk. She nodded. Okay. Do it for yourself, I said. Mom and Dad are about to lose everything. You need to stand on your own. I left her standing there, next to a car she couldn't afford, in front of a house that wouldn't be theirs much longer. 29 days later, my assistant brought the file. The cure period expires today. No payments. Any communication? Dozens of calls and messages. They were redirected to the workout department. And the recommendation? Foreclosure. They have no income to support a plan. They've been angry and uncooperative. They made threats. None of those messages mention paying the debt. File the foreclosure, I said. You're sure? He asked quietly. I'm sure. They had 5 years and $340,000. They made their choices. I closed the file. Now they face the consequences. Understood. I'll have legal file today. That evening I sat in my downtown penthouse, the one my parents had never visited because they said it was too cold and modern for their taste, and blocked their numbers. All of them. Mom, Dad, and the relatives who'd started calling to tell me what a terrible daughter I was. Only Jessica's number remained unblocked. 2 weeks later she sent me a photo. Her in a Starbucks uniform holding a grande latte, exhausted but smiling. The caption, Day 14. Still employed. Turns out I can show up on time when I have to. I sent back a thumbs up. 3 months later she was still there. Assistant manager now, working full-time, living in a studio apartment she could actually afford. The Tesla was gone, sold to cover the loan balance. She rode the bus to work. And my parents were living in a 2-bedroom apartment across town, funded by Social Security and Dad's pension. No country club membership, no new cars, no designer furniture. Living like everyone else. My company's quarterly earnings report showed record profits. Summit Financial Holdings was expanding into 3 new states. Forbes had called about another profile. I declined the interview. I'd learned my lesson about public success and private family exploitation. The lesson had cost me $340,000. But the freedom was priceless. Successful children help their parents, Dad had said. He was right. Just not the way he meant.